Well, this is it. The Ford Escape is going to go bye-bye after the 26 model year, so let's take a look at the hybrid and see if it's as good as the RAV4 hybrid. I'll include a link to the Sky Ford Provo's website in the description down below. If you have any questions and need any help, just ask for John Jenks. I'll also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. Under the hood is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder that's paired to an eCVT and a hybrid system. Fuel economy is 42 around town, 36 on the highway, with power outputs being 192 horsepower combined. I'm trying to hit 500,000 subscribers before the end of the year. I'd really appreciate it if you'd help out with that. Now this blue paint, I think, is probably one of the best colors on the Escape. And then the headlight design is super sharp looking. You got the little fog lights down below. This one does have parking sensors on the front end too. Altogether, the last version of the Escape, it's kind of the best looking. Tire wheel setup is 225 by 60 by 18. You've got metallic gray for the wheel coloration. You've got unpainted fender flares there. ST line badge, and then you can see stuff like the mirror caps and the door handles are body painted to match. And you can see with the side profile, again, it's a smaller vehicle, compact at that. Now when it comes to the key fob, we've got our lock and unlock feature, remote start, the opening for the hatch, and then the Ford logo there on the back. Now in the cargo area, you actually still have a spare tire underneath. Some hybrids ditch that, so it's nice that it still has it. And when it comes to the overall space, again, this is similar in size to a RAV4. It might be a little bit smaller, but it's pretty similar. The hatch itself is power, by the way, so just press that button. And I almost forgot, the seats do fold down flat with the trunk. It's kind of a little bit of a ramp, but it's flat for the most part. I like the taillight design, and then you got your little hybrid all-wheel drive badge. And that will cap things off for the exterior. Let's now pop inside. Got soft touch there on the armrest. Red stitching here in the seats. You've got the cloth inserts there in the center. Legroom here in the back is good, and no storage pocket on this side, but there is one on the other. Anyways, I do have some vents here in the back. There's some USB ports there at the bottom. I don't know if this is going to pop up. Hello? There you are. Keyless entry for up front. Let's pop in. Blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. We've got some soft touch here on the door panel, red stitching below. And then the front seats have that same kind of design with the cloth inserts and the red stitching. The driver's seat's power adjustable. The passenger seat's manual with the adjustments. This leads us to the steering wheel. You've got nice perforated trim on either side, red stitching in the center, practical controls for the center screen there on the right side, and then we've got our adaptive cruise control there on the left side. And then here is the digital cluster. You can change the information that's displayed here within the cluster. And that's one of the benefits of going all digital, and it shows you important information like your fuel range. And then in reverse, we do have a backup camera, good resolution with the system. Now with the screen itself, there's a shortcut bar. It's kind of darker, so it's hard to see. But this has stuff like the heated seats built in, the heated steering wheel, the climate controls, always accessible. But yeah, for the rest of the setup, it's pretty much all touchscreen. There's no real physical buttons. It is quick to respond, but it's something to get used to. And then below we do have some physical buttons for like the volume control. That's for your drive mode select, defroster. You can see for the safety tech shortcut, and then of course your engine stop start. USB ports with a 12-volt too. Cup holders here. We've got our little dial, shifter, parking brake with auto hold, and then center console. Got some nice soft touch and stitching on top. And look at that, still has a sunglass holder. Now this one with the ST line package, $37,175. Let's see how this performs. Escape! Escape hybrid. I had to say Escape because it's fun. It's fun. So, see if this measures up to the Yoda. Part of my check with cars now is seeing if they have double paned windows, because I'm just taking note of all the cars that have it and all the cars that don't. I know it might seem silly to you guys, but it's one of the features that's kind of like these touchscreens, right? First, only a few cars had it, and then everyone had it, and that's kind of the case with the double pane windows. Is it's just a few cars had it, and now a bunch of cars have it. Little squeak there. The power delivery is smooth, so that's a plus. See how the acceleration is bigger kind of jump. Not bad. It's actually, like, in the transitions and everything with this eCVT are really good. Like, the performance on this is actually solid. Doesn't have as much horsepower as the RAV4 hybrid, but feels peppy enough. In terms of the performance, it's actually a really solid setup. I think the thing that I'll probably see in the comments is talking about the reliability, and I probably should have looked it up before I reviewed this car. So I'm not sure. I know that Ford had issues with their power boost in the F-150. I don't know if they had issues with the Escape. So that could be the hang up for people, you know, in terms of getting this instead of a RAV4, right? I mean, that's the complaint I see with a lot of people with Honda CR-V hybrids, is they go, oh, it's not as reliable as the Toyota. And I think reliability is kind of more pertinent to a hybrid buyer than it is to a... I mean, everyone cares about reliability, but I think hybrid buyers, right, because I talk to a lot of people, they're the people that are very cost conscious. Like my mom's she has a RAV4 hybrid. You know, it's the type of... Are you gonna slow down? Okay. I thought that person was just gonna freaking go through. Anyways, it's the type of person that's, you know, they're getting the hybrid because they want better fuel economy, save money there, right? Don't have to fill up as often. And then also, they want to keep that car for as long as possible. If they keep it on the road longer, they don't have to replace it. That's going to save them money long term. So again, very cost conscious. So I think that's part of the reason why reliability is just front and center. So let me know your thoughts on the Escape. I probably will only do 2 reviews for the Escape for the 26 model year. I'll have this, and then I'll do a 2.0 turbo. If you guys want me to review any other packages, let me know. But it's also, again, it's going away after 26. So I figured I'd at least show you guys. So if you want one more chance to get one of these, well, you have it for now, and then it'll be gone. It'll be interesting to see what they kind of... I think they'll probably add more stuff to the Bronco Sport, and I think that's smart. But anyways, that's the Escape Hybrid. Fancy loaded up all-wheel drive Camry. Isn't it crazy? If you want the fancy pants one, it's over $40,000 now. And hopefully now you guys can see why I like those Crown Signias so much, because yeah, obviously it's more money. It's even more money, but it's like those things have so much space in them, and they have a nicer interior than the Camry. You know, Camry build quality is pretty good, but yeah, those have a nicer interior than the Camry. And, you know, yeah, for like 10 grand more than this, you get, I don't know, a lot more car. A lot more car. But, yeah, Camry still has quite a bit going on with it. Very smooth ride. And this powertrain's now in pretty much all the new Toyotas, the 2.5 with the, you know, 5th gen hybrid system.